To start this project, you're going to get a piece of clay about the size of a baseball or maybe a tennis ball and compact it into a round sphere. Then you're going to take your clay ball and you're going to cut it in half by placing it on the wire and pressing forward, making sure that it's right in the middle. Take one of the halves and now start making a pinch pot. Be sure and support it with your fingers on the outside and pinch while turning it with your thumbs. Gradually pushing in and trying to keep it even all the way around. You're going to want a pretty thick wall around the whole sphere. So as you do this, keep in mind that the thickness needs to be the same all the way around. As you're pinching it, you may lose the roundness, so you'll want to kind of look at it and try to keep that roundness. You'll also lose some of the flatness on the surface, so just tap it on the newspaper, and that'll get the walls to be flat right there, because that's where we're going to connect it to the other piece. So you can see how by pinching the one has made it larger than the other, so you just need to make sure that the other half matches the size of that first one. So once you've matched both sides and they're the same size, we're going to let it set for a while and stiffen up. Once it's at the right stiffness, we're going to take our scoring tool and we're going to scratch or score that surface where the two sides are going to connect. So you'll just take it and scratch it up really, really good on that flat surface there, making some good little grooves because that's where it's going to attach to the other side. So you'll set it down and then you'll take the other one and do the same thing to it. Now you're going to apply the slip. Slip acts like glue and will hold these pieces together really well. So put a good amount of slip all over the scratched part of one of the spheres. Make sure it's on all that area, and then you're going to take the other side and carefully press them together. You don't want to squeeze too hard, but just firm enough to where you start seeing the slip ooze out of the crack where you're putting the two pieces together. So you're going to have to cup your hands to make sure you don't lose that roundness. This is where a lot of students will collapse their sphere. They'll mash it too hard, or they'll lose that roundness shape. You're also going to be wiping off the slip that comes out. You may want to take a paper towel or something, and if there's too much that's coming out and it's making it way too slippery, you can just wipe it off. But then you're going to want to make sure that you hide that seam by moving clay into it. So you may want to scratch into it or kind of scoop up some clay from right next to that crack, and see how I'm really pressing in there to move that clay. The thing is, while you're doing this and hiding the seam on one side, it might be opening up on the other side of the sphere. So you just want to constantly be turning it and filling it in, all the while trying to keep that round shape, because you don't want to lose the shape of the ball. You want it to continue to be a round sphere. So this is a process. You want to just keep turning and scraping. I'm even taking my fingernail and kind of scraping up some clay, and you can always come back as it gets more and more dry and kind of smooth it out. Remember, the pressure of your hands is going to determine how round the sphere turns out. Okay, since we know that this is going to roll around and we don't want it to fall off your tray and onto the floor and get ruined, so we're going to make a little barrier to go around the base of it so it doesn't roll around and get ruined. So you're just going to take a piece of clay. You can form it into a coil to wrap around it, or what I like to do is just tear it into 3 pieces and put kind of in a triangular position, and that will keep it from rolling around, because we want to be very careful that this doesn't roll off.